Good morning, everyone. Oh Lord, I'm on the wrong camera. Oh, that's a shame. Let me see if it'll let me switch. Sorry about that, everyone. I ended up on the wrong camera. Look at this. This is not what I wanted. Nevertheless, we're here. See, I'm in the webcam camera. I don't even know how that happened. Can I fix this? Can I switch this camera at all? I have no idea. This is a disgrace. How long have I been doing this show? That it just, and all of a sudden, view camera. No, I got, no, nope, nothing. That's a shame. Well, let me make this a little brighter at least. Hold on, everyone. Is that better at least? I mean, a little. Can we make this? This looks a little grainy, and I'm upset. Not used to such low quality, at least technically. I mean, content-wise, yes. Nevertheless, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. Hello, good day. It is Sunday, and I'm here to make coffee with you. And I'm taking quite a risk because I'm wearing let me take a step back here. I'm wearing a nude. They say it's nude, but I think, certainly for someone else, maybe a person with a different hue. I bought a new, and it's got this gray to tell you I'm not totally naked. I don't think you think I'm naked. Maybe if I did it quick, maybe if I went like this, you would go, oh my God, he's naked. But then you would just think there's nothing. It's like a Ken doll or something. But I'm enjoying them. They're kind of a yellow, a cream sand kind of color. It's very beachy. It's very nice. Oh, but yet there's so many people talking already. I have so much work to do. Leo said, I remember you saying an old coffee man, I remember you saying an old man asked if you ever made coffee nude. Guess he almost gets his wish today. Sadly, I'm pretty sure I've kicked him out of my channel. Rachel said, my cousin Quincy, not Jack Klugman, who was 16 years old, brought up Mark Ruffalo. I informed him how the cult feels about him. She said, oh, then that's not for me. I brought up Betty White, and she said she's going to have beef with you. It's not. She said, you're unhinged, and your opinions about anything don't matter after that. It's not my opinions. It's the information that I've been given throughout my life about these people that not a lot of other people have access to. And I'm, the canary in the coal mine saying, hey, what I've heard, these are not good people. And I'm trying to warn you, and I'm trying to save you the emotional stress of that, because it is an ordeal. So tell her to thank me. Leo said, RJ, what's with this cancel culture these days? I know. It's getting crazy. But next thing you know, a guy like me can't even say anything weekly, freely, live to many, many people. SM said, I think I recall that I recently watched what I think was the first episode of Coffee and Underwear on Facebook. A woman asked RJ to show his penis, but spelled it Pinus, which I think is a small chinchilla-like creature. SM said, I think I tried to sell a couch. Yeah, that was the first episode. That was so weird. Singh said, hello all. Last week, RJ seemed displeased with the well wishes at the start of the program. So this week, I wish you all a very mild and uneventful morning, which great, Singh, because that's where I am. Neil said, members, did you see Ask RJ is coming up? I'm recording Ask RJ tomorrow. So if you want to get your questions in, they have trickled in. Nail's dropped a bunch. I could always use more. So go hit the community tab and scroll, and you'll see where I said for questions, and you type your question. Shanika said, morning, y'all. David said, what is his sign? My sign is yield. Good morning, all. Good morning, David. Sean said, hey, yo, culties. Hello, Mr. City. Good morning, all. Oh, Sean just said that joke. We had the same joke. Shit. Clarence said, hi, RJ. I have to kick him out now. Clarence said, hi, RJ. How are you feeling, buddy? I see you're wearing nude underwear. Well, I'm feeling that your eyesight is perfect, because I am indeed. Nail said, we could see you and hear you. Nice awkward start. it's grainy, and the light on my usual camera is not lit, and then the laptop, the built-in webcam is, and it's not as good. Hamburger said, if you were a pile driver, what kind of pile driver would you be? The one that Jerry Lawler gave David that hurt his neck. David said, I love when David's here. Or that's not David. SM said, I love when David's here. Nail said, nude if I had a day at the pool. Well, I feel like if these were white underwear and I got them wet, they would be more nude. Sean said, nude in the city. Val said, last night, my friends were talking about Mark Ruffalo, and I said, fuck Mark Ruffalo on instinct. And first of all, thank you. Number one. Number two, why is everybody talking about Ruffalo? Is this Ruffalo day? Neil said, no socks today. No, because I was getting hot and sweaty already. I usually end the show sweaty, so I didn't want to start like that. So I'm free-footing it. We're barefooting. David said, good morning, RJ. He came all the way around from what's his sign to good morning, RJ. Shanika said, sadly. Yes, everything sadly. Nail said, Val, hashtag pop for pancakes. And yes, fuck Mark Ruffalo. I love how Val can actually say F-U-C-K and Nail censors it. But it's the exact same sentiment, which is great. Sean said, rest in perversion. Charles Dempsey Brown. We're all pulling for you, buddy. David said, good morning, fellow whirling dervishes. I wrote a small sitcom pilot once where gym teacher used to be a wrestler, and his finish was the whirling dervish. And there's so little whirling nowadays. And there's also basically no dervishes anymore. So, and if you have a dervish, is there a steady dervish? Is there a still dervish? I have no idea. Ace said, I made sausage, egg, and cheese English muffin. I love a good English muffin. I think they're great. And they really, as far as I'm concerned, replace toast. They're just, because toast, how do I explain toast? Toast on the inside and the outside is the same toast. English muffin is totally different inside. That inside is for eating. The outside is for holding. You know what I mean? Kind of has its own peel in that sense. It's bread with a peel. You cut that thing open, and that is because imagine if an English muffin was just all what the inside was, you'd never hold it. You would put it in bread. Almost like, the way people eat crumpets, which I love, don't get me wrong. But the crumpet is meant to be eaten, open face. You're not supposed to hold the bottom of a crumpet if you flipped it and made a sandwich. You're supposed to, eat it like a disc or something. But English muffin is meant to be eaten as a sandwich. Toast, I don't know. I'm not crazy. I don't sure, I have some toast. And we're excluding French toast. We're excluding the specialty toasts. But I don't like it on a sandwich. Like when people give me like a club sandwich. If I go get a club sandwich, it's on toast. And they also put more toast in the middle. It's just not for me. I'd like a club on English muffin. I think that would, I'm not wearing them, but they would knock my socks off. They would knock my socks off the table. My socks are on the table. Painter's grandma said, Mark's pretty well established. He's not a good guy getting all huffy about the worst Chris thing. That's not even the worst thing he's done. Me and David know far worse. Neil said, why did he say displeased like that? I have no idea. Yolanda said, good morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Revenge said, dear RJ, if you were cast in The Sound of Music, which character would you play and why would it be Gretel Von Trapp? I've been watching these interviews from an old show in Sacramento called Night Comfort with Tom Labrie of Labrie's Waterbed. So this guy was like a waterbed salesman, and at late night he had his own programming, and he would run old movies and put his own commercials in between. And if a celebrity was in town, he would have them on the show. And David, this is the guy that Van Johnson was talking to in that Van Johnson interview. I did Music Man, Susan Watson, 2 years ago in London. Thank God. That guy. So he had George Peppard on the show, and George Peppard was in Sacramento doing The Sound of Music. And he was talking about how his actress lead, the female lead, was very attractive. And he said, and I quote, it may be the first sexy Sound of Music. So that's been sitting with me for 2 days now. I that doesn't answer your question, but I need to let it go. American Girl said, hi, it's been forever since I tuned in. Congrats on all your new spots. I'm looking forward to whatever is in store. There are more spots to come. Keep your eyes open because I'm spotted all over the place. I love just appearing on things without any announcement. And I will probably continue to do something. Then they will get canceled and we'll never speak of them again. Sean said, it popped me when you said it. Great minds. Meh minds is true. Really cerebrally mild. Tom said, good morning, y'all. Great job on the watch along last week. I don't know when reacting when you and Shane traded places. I don't know what you're talking about. That was hilarious. Well, it was a nice time. And we had fun. And I now hold the record for saying Glenn Close the most times on any program in WWE history. I think in 1986, Lord Alfred Hayes said it twice, and I have him lapped. David said, I knew you were that pile driver. See, we can unspoken. Leo said 60 seconds, a wrestler doing the ladies' man gimmick, cutting a promo, but it's clear he's never had a girlfriend in his life. This is what I'm talking about. Good old-fashioned ladies' man gimmick. Okay, here we go. Let's go and let us begin. Good afternoon, women and men who don't like me because women like me so much. And they like my teeth. And they take me to their bedrooms and I show off my teeth, boys. And sometimes I'll brush in front of your wife. I'll brush my teeth and I'll brush hers too. We could floss because your teeth suck and mine are good. And your lady, your wife and your mom, I'm going to brush your mom's teeth while she brushes your wife's teeth, and your wife will brush my teeth. How do you like that? How do you chew on that? Huh? And scene. That character's name is the Tooth Fairy. Neil said, I laughed so much. Chain on Reggie Chain's places, but it took me several looks to realize the shirt swap. There was no swapping of any kind. Red Dog said, sup, RJ Cityhausen. I don't respond to that at all. Aaron said, morning. Morning, folks. Morning, Aaron. Brutally speaking said, I think you're one of the few wrestlers with long hair who doesn't go for the wet look. Also, good morning. What's brewing today? First of all, sometimes I do because there will be a substantial amount of frizz, as you can see right here. And I would love to, now that you mentioned it, I have water here. And I am going to do just a little to tamp it. See, that's no, that's what I made it much. No, okay. Well, when it'll get a little bit drier, give it 2 minutes. Well, now I did the wet look. It's a whole. You know what? When you do the wet look in Canada, you can only do it 2.5 months out of the year before you get a cold. And what's brewing? A melange. I think there's a little coffee house by Danhausen in here, the Rootless Coffee. And there's a little something else. It's a little dark, and I'm going to do a standing press. So a smaller squat. And there we go. There it is. We are well squatted. And we're going to do a pour using a wonderful cup on a program you may see me on at some juncture. Another one of my spots, shall we say, my random cameos. Up, down, down, university. Keep it tight. You need some sort of plastic to get that done. Oh, yeah, there's the logo and an arrow going up. See, 2 arrows going up for up, and then the other 2 are down, and then there's a U. There's a university. So I'm going to give this a hearty pour. I like the various shades of blue. I will certainly tell you that much. I think they're nice and fun. This is an early pour. We usually do it like it's because you asked. Let me put this down. And then we'll see if I like this, and then we can put stevia in it or so forth. Nicholas said, greetings, freaks and geeks. Leo said, my creator wrestler on WrestleMania 19, which was a weird game, was called the Whirling Dervish. Alice said, yes, English muffins are very nice. Shanika said, bread with a peel or bread with peel, or both. SM said, too bad the peeps from La Boomp didn't notice the switches. Well, I didn't notice them either. So they're just, calling the matches as they are wont to do. Pinto Scummer said, are you into rye bread? Not every day. You won't see me pounding back loaves of rye every morning, but I'm not opposed to it. The caraway seeds bother some people. And that's, it's a topic for another day. David said, oh, Van, my man. We're Van Johnson guys. I don't know what to say. I love a good old-fashioned Van Johnson. Do you want my diet? It's a 4-day crash. You don't need it. Blue Meanie said, good morning, all. Good morning, Blue Meanie, who's been posting wonderful pictures. I had a question to ask Blue Meanie, and now I can't for the life remember it. But I do know it was his birthday last week or this week, because I don't know how the days are getting so long. Regardless, it was relatively, recent. So the happiest of blue birthdays to you. Neil said, hello. So Karya is late to Sunday service. A said, are you going to see the Cruella de Vil movie? Nope. Neil said he does have great teeth. Flossing in front of someone, that is intimacy. Neil said teeth brushing orgy. You should put your brushes into a little bowl, and if you pick it out, you got to brush that person's teeth. Alice said, RJ, what was your favorite childhood TV show? I mean, now you're really opening up a can of worms. I loved The Muppet Show, and of course, adjunct to that, I loved Sesame Street. Pee-wee's Playhouse, to the surprise of no one. I also loved, I have old episodes of Larry King. I felt him very relatable. He'd have Ethel Merman on or Milton Berle. I thought they were fun. Nail said, I've seen you extremely wet and oiled up heading to the ring before. It's just it's a come down. If that makes any sense. And then I started doing a dry look with a little, I put like a little spray and I felt like that held better. Because sometimes when I get to the ring, my entrance is so slow. And there's so many things that happen before it if I'm talking or whatever. That by the time I wrestle, I'm dry again. And I go, what's the point? SM said, what do you think of couples who share their toothbrush? I think it's fucking disgusting. I agree, SM. That is not. I mean, how much is a toothbrush? $2? Like bottom level toothbrush, $2? You can afford it. I would never. I mean, in an emergency, sure. But irregularly as a cogent choice, absolutely not. Tom said standing press sounds like a wrestling move. I agree. Mysterious Basement said yo-ho. And a bottle of rum to you, good sir. Alice had another question. Is it cold in Canada? Well, I mean, in certain parts. And again, I will remind you that Canada is a country. So it has a variety of temperatures, all at the same time, much like the United States or the United Kingdom. Anything that's united. Spain, I'm sure, has a variety of temperatures. Nails is singing old Blue Meanie's old theme song, Navy Blue, Periwinkle Blue. SM said, early pour this morning. It was an early pour this morning, but yet, I haven't sipped it yet. Nini said, we just got a French press. I haven't used it yet. Why is it so much better than regular brew? How do I explain this? It's a slower process. The water sits more intimately with the beans. It'll give you a fuller flavor, if that makes any sense. I often find that coffee coming from a coffee machine, a percolator, kind of all taste the same. Sometimes it'll be good, but it's almost like boxed wine in a sense. Some of it could be good, I'm sure, but you want a better process. And we'll give you a bit. I also think it's kind of easier to make, and it's not too hot. There's a handcrafted experience with the pressing and how many grounds you want, and I think you will end up enjoying it. You can also make cold brew that way, which you can't make in a percolator. So that's a fantastic option too. Aaron said, standing press is a risky maneuver. That's how I ruined my grandmother's ottoman, if you all remember. Mysterious Baseman said, WrestleMania 19 with the revenge mode, where you beat up G-Men in the parking lot. Oh, man, wasn't Maven featured heavily in that? Blue Meanie said, my birthday was the 18th. So that's not that long. It was less than a week. So I was good. I'm good. That's how you wish it. I also wished it on Instagram. I don't know where else. I don't know if it's I got to DM the person. It's annoying for them and for me. SM said, like the video, you cowards. We have like 4,000 something subscribers. I would like to get to 10,000 subscribers for two reasons. One, I can post stories on YouTube, like Instagram, like, oh, this is what I'm doing, about to go live, like that kind of thing, which is nice. Number one. Number two, I think if you get over 10,000 followers, you can do charity streams. And I would love to be able to do that and maybe do it for the B. Arthur Foundation Fund or whatever it is. The foundation of funds. That is a small bucket list goal of mine. And I say bucket list, knowing full well I hated that movie with Jack Nicholson. However, there's a B. Arthur residence in New York for the homeless LGBTQ youth. And if you donate over $1,000, you get your name on a medallion on the wall. And if there's other levels where you could get a bench named after you. You could get a fountain named after you. You can get a brick in the wall. So first of all, I think is a fantastic cause. And you can certainly donate whenever you want, however you want. It doesn't have to be in my name. The Ali Forney Center, L-A-I, what? A-L-I, Ali, F-O-R-N-E-Y. And it's the B. Arthur Fund. And if you Google it, you'll find it. I posted about it before. It's on my Instagram. And I think it would be nice to do B-centered charity streams for her fund. And it's a good cause. It is a tangible charity. It's nice, sometimes these charities are like broad. They're like the Help Everyone Fund. And you're like, well, what do we... And you're like, well, it's going to help, and you don't know. But something like this is like specific and tangible. And then also, I have my own selfish, narcissistic desire to have my name on the wall as a friend of B. So it works on many levels. Blue Meanie said, and thank you. Leo said, the Cruella movie looks like shit. Thank you, Leo. That was succinct. Blue Meanie said, people who share a toothbrush probably have a joint Facebook account, which is gives me the most bacteria is seeing something like that. Red Dog said, did you watch Hey Vernon's Ernest? I watched it recently, like within the past 6 months again. I saw it when I was a kid. But it's fun, but it's also like always the same show. Just be like a series of like one-off like solo sketches, and I'm sure he block shot them. He's very talented and underrated and very handsome. Chris said, WrestleMania 19 video game is probably one of the most random WWE games to drop. You, my good man, have never played Crush Hour. The Matt Camp from the wonderful French wrestling program Le Boom just celebrated their 100th episode, and I was so happy to be a part of it. My own kind of on the show, but not really on the show kind of way. What are you most proud of on your LinkedIn? First of all, the profile picture is me in a tuxedo, which I've only worn. There was a good 25-year gap between me wearing tuxedos. I was a child and I had to do so for a wedding. Oh my God, I just spilled this everywhere. I got so excited. I was a child and look at this. This is a mess. Okay. You got me all excited about the LinkedIn and I got coffee all over my hand. I was a child and I had to do so for a wedding. And then the Cynical Crafter was in some sort of web film festival. I can't remember the name of it, the Buffer Awards or some shit. And I was nominated or something, and they give you like a free like rental tuxedo. Like you go get fitted and then they just give it to you and you got to give it back. I was like, well, this is fantastic. Let me take advantage. This is my big shot. So I sat like a schmuck in this tuxedo. And I mean, we didn't win. And they did a thing where you speak about it before, and you know, it's like they act like they're just amazing short films. But like all the YouTube, it was all like a tween audience, and it was not vibing at all. And I really kind of hung my head in shame. But what I'm proud of is that the picture looks like I'm comfortable wearing a tuxedo, which is not the case at all. It's probably because I was tired and sad that I looked so comfortable. What else? I have like some what else on my LinkedIn? I love when it just says like consulting producer, and then you don't bother to explain what that means, and it could have meant anything. I'm proud of my education. Yeah, that's it. No, pretty much the profile picture, and I think I'm also proud of. If you look at it, you can't tell that I've ever wrestled before. So it's a good, and I can't say that about every wrestler who has LinkedIn. I'm gonna look at your LinkedIn now. Talked about things. Put my hands together on camera. Alice said, "Can you speak any other language?" No. And that is in many different languages. Nell said, Matt Camp from the famous French television program Le Boom. SM said, finally get together with my friends on Friday since we're all vaccinated now. Vax orgy. Doing an outdoor movie night at a friend's new house. The host chose to show the new Cruella movie. You know, I don't want to say you shouldn't have gotten vaccinated. I'm pro-vaccination. I'm just saying you shouldn't have told your friends yet. So you could have skipped this party. Missy said, toothbrush sharers are also same-side booth sitters. Gross. I will tell you, though, the value of sitting on the same side of the booth, especially if your back is against the wall, is that you can watch the rest of the diner. So many times, it's very difficult. There'd be in a diner with someone. They'll be, oh, my God, who? And then you can't turn around and look. You won't believe who just walked in. And then you try, and then they're like, shh, no. And then you have to freeze and just stare. If you're on the same side of the booth, that doesn't happen. Nunny said, well, I'm about to up my coffee game. This will change your life, Nunny. Alice said, it's cold in the UK, and I think that's an astute remark. Leo said, do you think you'll ever get big enough to hose down a steel cable? A what? A steel cable. A heel stable with cold brew. That would be an incredible waste. Sean said, I recently switched from Keurig back to an old-fashioned Park coffee maker. Might have to just get a French press and really commit. I find the French press a lot easier than both the Keurig and the coffee. Less hassle, less cleanup. David said, pick up the pace, RJ. I would think the early pour would have spurred you, but you're rambling on like Van Johnson after accidentally inedible. And I tell you, they give you these brownies, and all of a sudden, everything slows down. I don't know. And, you know, the movies are not what they used to be. I don't want to go to the theater and hit all these four-letter words and this vulgarity and people showing their bare bottom. Maybe I'm just upset because I was never asked to show my bare bottom. That is, I want you people to understand, like that is an impression of Van Johnson, and I can't think of any, maybe David does the impression, maybe Mario Cantone would do the impression. Other than that, I can't think of anyone else on earth who's actively doing a Van Johnson impression. And I want you to appreciate that. And I know you're saying, who's Van Johnson? I've never heard of Van Johnson in my life, but you will look him up. And you will say, what a gift we've been given. Sean said, I wouldn't mind seeing RJ after an edible. I don't think I would be able to see. David said, let's go to RJ to 10,000. Alice said, your channel is the only one I subscribe to. I mean, it doesn't have to be exclusive. You can do other things. I'm not locking you down here. Red Dog said, question for RJ Housen or Blue Meanie Housen. Will there be new wrestlers added to Retromania? Oh, well, I mean, it's not my game, so I don't know. But I would assume, logically, there would be some sort of DLC business. That's what most video games do nowadays. You know, back in my day, you bought No Mercy. That was, you unlocked Andre the Giant, and that was it forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, coming back. And this, the game is better now. It's like you should have made it that good to begin with. Neil said, let's go on an obnoxious subscribe to RJ's YouTube mission. This will go well. SM said, I think you went from around 3,500 subscribers to 4K after WrestleMania After Dark, which is baffling and quite frankly, doesn't make any sense. I'm sure people will be just to monitor, and then I'm sure people will be dropping off. Yolanda said the percolator is also a nasty dance in the clubs of Philly. How I miss the clubs. That is the least surprising sentence coming from you, Yolanda. But please, next time I'm in Philly, teach me the percolator. I'd like to go out on the town. Nicholas said, I just discovered B. Arthur was a Marine, and she did like the ultimate Marine thing of like never saying anything, people finding out after she dies. Michelle said, good morning, all. I am laid up with a pulled hamstring. Have you ever had one? Any suggestions on how to deal with one? I mean, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't think I've ever had one, but I would move in any way you can without hurting yourself. You know, the other leg, your arms, keep exercising and keep the blood flowing. I think that's of the essence. SM said, couples with shared Facebook accounts 100% do that because of trust issues, history of infidelity more often than not. This and more relationship facts to follow from SM. Leo said, Crush Hour was so terrible, not even so bad as good, just so terrible. I agree. Chris said, if you're interested in charity streams, hit up New Legacy. Those guys do a lot of charity streams and can probably give you some pointers. I mean, the pointer is clear, Chris. I got to get over the subscribe. You need I can only do so much with. A said, why would anyone have a shared Facebook account? My mom doesn't have one, but she will go. If I'm on mine, she will say, can you look up pictures of your cousins or your aunts? I just want to see type in this name. I used to go to elementary school with them. SM said, I'm salty. I was never asked to be a flower girl as a kid. I'm so happy that never happened. Chris said, I never played Crush Hour because I didn't own a PS2 at the time, and it's for your benefit. Nail said, perhaps have some guest appearances on the channel. It doesn't have to be live, and perhaps gain some of their fans as subscribers. That does not work. I had Steve Austin on the channel. I had Mario Cantone. I had Danhausen was on 3 times. I had big internet face, Matt Cardona. This doesn't really help. Alice said, I can speak some Icelandic. Just a random fact. This and more random Alice facts from Alice Aldridge. Leo said, what's your favorite early photo shoot pic? I like the one of you in green trunks leaning forward and the one of you holding the weight plate in the gym. Also, the blue music notes trunks. Those blue music note ones were like my favorite trunks. They were beautifully done. Maybe I don't like any of them. Really. Sean said, you don't know any French? Not even boomp related words? I haven't taken le boomp in years. Chris said, because somebody cheated, baby. I don't know what we're talking about. Sean said, if you asked Bret Hart, I bet he would do coffee and underwear. I bet he would. And then I have to set it up and explain. You know what I mean? Sean said, I don't know the guy. We have, I think, mutual appreciation for grievances. Nail said, I have Cafe Bustelo in a can. That's the highest effort I'm going to show. That's good enough. They are delightful. Sean said, just tell them it's a show about protecting the business. A real, yeah. Us brothers got to stick together. SM said, bare bottom. That's a direct quote from Van Johnson, by the way. Nail said, yeah, I actually really like it. I don't know what that's in reference to. Alice said, I once had a fear of paper clips because paper clips just used to freak me out. I guess you don't need a reason after that. You don't need to wonder why. Leo said the picture they used for Andre in No Mercy when you choose the character was some random picture of him probably taken at a bar in an airport. It was like, I love when we show his weird teeth. Yolanda said, deal, we will percolate the house down. And I will show you the French press. We can invent dances. Yolanda said, I'm going to learn that Van Johnson impression just to say the bare bottom alone. They're showing their bare bottoms. Thank God. And I said, Mr. Mayor, I'll do whatever you tell me. You've been here longer than I have. Can I continue to do? Clark Gable called me up and he said, do you still get residuals from the album we did of Brigadoon? And I said, I might get a few dollars every couple of years, but not enough to pay the gas bill. Sure, I'm rich, but not from residuals. Don't get me started on residuals. They're a hoot. I went too far back now. Dear Lord, where am I? There we go. As I said, Matt Cardona is meh, in my opinion. You carry that episode. He did send me gifts. You know, he sent me a nice lanyard and I think a Flash Funk and a Steve Austin. So I think it all worked out in the end. And I think if you watch it back, you'll pick up on some nuanced performance. Neil said, you've got to be obnoxious about it, though. Shove it in people's faces. That's really something I enjoy doing. Alice said, that could be my YouTube channel. Random Facts with Alice. Yeah, it could be. But you're only subscribed to me. Neil said, I'm not a Cardona fan either. Well, I picked the wrong people. A said, what about having The Rock doing coffee and underwear as he gets? Yeah, maybe if I get him at 4 o'clock in the morning when he wakes up to work out and have lunch or something, and then he goes to bed at 8:30 in the morning and then gets up at like 7 p.m. I'm going to have to plug all his stuff. Tell me about your energy drink. Leo said, if you invite people onto the channel to get subscribers, you need to invite bad rant comments and awful psychologists. I'm having Sylvia Brown on. And bad rant comics. I'm thinking of ones, but I don't want to say they're bad because I like them. I want to have Dom Herrera on. Leo said, also hosted in a basement designed to look like a real guy's sports bar. Maybe I should say like some controversial stuff. You know, really upset people, like about bread. Yolanda is laughing. Singh said, this Van Johnson fella sounds delightfully 50s. He was an actor in the old studio days. He was in Brigadoon. He was in Purple Rose of Cairo, of course, on Broadway, and La Cage aux Folles, which was on Broadway. And I've certainly done The Music Man with Susan Watson, who I played with before professionally. That's a direct quote also. Leo said, and he seems, back to Van Johnson, he seems incredibly bitter. He seems unwilling to just let go of things, and I think that's why I resonate with him so well. Leo said, also invite on god-awful lifestyle gurus. You will lose all of us, begin a load of stupid people, and become huge. Get angry about cancel culture. I'm pissed. I can't say anything. Please continue to subscribe. SM said, I only remember Matt Cardona sending you an eye patch that you tried to put on your nipple. I think it was a pasty. And I think it was for the Major Wrestling Figures Podcast Burlesque Show. And they take the action figures and go, da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Alice said, I'm only subscribed to you because you have a good channel. Thank you, Alice. Rye is here from the wonderful Out in the Ring documentary that's coming out. Is Out in the Ring coming out? Is that what you say? He mentions Gallagher. I should have him on the show, and then he can storm off, and then I'll just have his brother on, known as Gallagher 2. Speaking of sequels that people didn't know about, I found out yesterday that there is a sequel to Sir with Love, and it's called To Sir with Love 2, and it's in 1996, and Sidney Poitier just goes to a different school, like an American school, and he's older, and it's the same story. Nini said, I just watched you take a German from Swaggle. Who knew the little guy was so powerful? He's got a lower center of gravity, and that makes it easy to push me over. Pana's grandma said, is Dr. Ruth still alive? I feel she'd make a great guest to drink coffee with if she's alive. I would like Sue Johansson from the Sunday Night Sex Show. I think we would get along swimmingly. Leo said, I've said this before, but Matt Cardona saying he was a Frasier fan and not knowing who Lilith was quite funny. I also want to say, he asked to come on the show many, many, many times. And then after we finished, he was like, so when does this, what day does this come up? And I go, Sunday. You've never seen there are a lot of people, I will say, who don't watch the show directly, but then will catch up with stuff either after or like on online, other stuff I post, like clips on Twitter and shit. You know, ancillary content. Rye said Van Johnson was also the minstrel on Batman, which is an episode I have not watched in so long, and I do want to start watching the Batman episodes from the beginning. I would be very interested in that. And I don't remember, like, obviously I saw it and I remember him, but I have not watched it since understanding the deeper level of the wonderful Van Johnson. I've made so many films, 135 films. I'm still having a career, I'll tell you that. And when we finished The Music Man in London, with Susan Watson and I, when we went up the aisle on closing night, and we said, this is not a show we ever want to do again. It is a ball breaker. It's fun. It's very tough to do. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. A said, what's your take on WCW show in North Korea in the 90s? Can I say I don't have a take? I don't. It's not. Can you see I'm focused on Van Johnson? Neil said, how did they ever come up with that name? Well, I mean, his name was Van Johnson. Leo said, what are you going to have for lunch? That is a question I've been wrestling with. And today is my cheat day. It's a higher calorie day. And sometimes I don't know whether to start it earlier or to save everything for the end. I'm going to have this Bingy King Henry kind of vomitorium. That's my other impression of the day, is a Charles Lawton impression when he was that him, Charles Lawton? Must have been. No, it's not Charles Lawton. Who was, oh God, in the King Henry movie, none of you have got no style and no substance. None of you have got any manners. And he's like taking a chicken, he's ripping it with his hands. I feel like Rye knows. I feel like Rye will be yelling at the screen right now. In terms of what I'm going to have for lunch, though, I want to have some pizza. I would like to have a Blizzard from Dairy Queen's. I'm not sure when. So my lunch might be cucumbers and a protein shake. A said, will you watch the Hocus Pocus sequel? If longtime viewers of my content will know, I don't even care about the first one. And if you don't believe me, on this very channel, I did a trailer reaction to the Hocus Pocus movie, and the original, I did not care for it. Because it was like a movie that stunk at the time. It was like a flop commercially, critically, and then like 20 years later, everyone's like, the most beloved Halloween movie of all time. What the fuck? Like, it was only in syndication. People were like, yeah, this is great. This is a lie. And now it has a sequel. I want To Sir with Love 3. That's what I want. Alice said, goodbye, everyone. I have things to do. I don't want to leave you, but you have to do what you have to do. Good luck with all that. Leo said, I read Scott Steiner said he was nervous about fighting Swoggle because he isn't very good at lifting. Okay. Not my words. I will say Swoggle is incredibly, incredibly heavy. I don't know if it's him particularly, but I just will never forget that. Nug is here, and you can watch Nug tomorrow live on Instagram at like 11 p.m. Talking about Raw after Graham and it. Said, who is your favorite Batman villain? Now I'm going to be here all day. I mean, favorite is a hard term because some of them are my favorites because they're so horrible. Like Lola Lasagna, played by Ethel Merman, who didn't really do much of anything. She seemed to just have different colorful umbrellas. I was also a fan of Louis the Lilac, played by Milton Berle, who also didn't do much of anything. And of course, I mean, one of the most useless of all was John Astin as the Riddler, which was wholly unnecessary. And I cannot believe they didn't just give him another villain. Like, how hard, they would create them in like 5 minutes. How hard was it to make John Astin Mustache Man or something? I do have a couple favorites. One, of course, is Vincent Price's Egghead. This radar egg will explode. I don't feel like I need to explain that. Secondly, very close to my heart, is Victor Buono playing King Tut, who I believe was a history professor who got hit in the head and then thought he was King Tut. Anything with an evil history professor is okay in my books. In terms of like, oh my God, like when I was a kid and I was terrified, False Face. And it was a guy who would have these masks that were like clear and then a little flesh color, and he'd always be wearing them and you never knew what he really looked like. And that was terrifying to me. And that should continue to come back. Who else did I love? I also loved the character Shame, parody of the Western Shame, and Liberace. But see, now I'm just listing them. I really like them Almost all of them, and both Mr. Freezes. SM said, Archie, do you still wear headbands? Yes, I got one. Got one right here. Look at this, huh? Isn't that handsome, buckaroo? Some more improv for everyone. Ninny said, do Patrick Stewart? No. Chris said, the Egyptian character from the 66 Batman show recently became an official character in the comics. Oh, King Tut is back? I have to really brush up on my comment. Nail said, do you cheat day alone or do you have a snacking pal? I mean, I'll do it no matter what. It's not about the socializing. It's about being disgusting. And when when you burp and there's a little bit of vomit in it, that's how I know when to stop. Rye said that did sound more like a sedate James Mason. None of you have got any manners. None of you have got any manners. I feel like that's more James Mason. SM said, Sonic has Cheesecake Blast right now. Tried the strawberry one last night. It was great. I've never been. Leo said, were you a fan of the wrestler Nails? I was a fan of his voice. Nell said, I don't like the snack alone. I like the snack. This isn't a snack. This is a grotesque display of what do they call it? Greed, gluttony. Gluttony is what I was looking for. Singh said, Hocus Pocus was directed by Kenny Ortega, director of High School Musicals 1, 2, and 3. He also directed Michael Jackson's This Is It. Well, if that's any proof that it's not going to be good. Sean said, I was under the impression that eating a bunch of stuff before bed was bad for like your health or something, your digest. Yes, I wasn't going to eat it right before bed. I just meant like post dinner into night as opposed to in the middle of the day, like at 12 o'clock. But yes, that's absolutely true. Rice said, blame us gays. We made Hocus Pocus a hit. I almost turned my card in protest because of that. Can't you go to the meeting with a list, and say, hey, guys, what about Phantom of the Paradise? That works. Paul Williams. Rice said, the Puzzler, Roddy McDowell, another good Batman villain. And who was... Art Carney was a shitty one, too. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it not being bad. Chris said Clint Eastwood was nearly Two-Face in the 66 show. And I believe, was it Carl Weathers I'm thinking of? Did he play Harvey Dent in the Tim Burton Batmans? Because if it continued, the plan was to make him Two-Face. Aaron agrees, saying false face is nightmare fuel. Rye said false face. I'm so happy we're on the same page with false face. Sean said the episode with Ethel Merman that's about fixing a horse race by painting a horse is good. Not only is it good, it has one of the best horse names ever, Waynebow. And that's Waynebeau, as in beautiful Wayne. Leo said, will you always keep your... Sorry, not Carl Weathers. Nug just texted me. Billy D. Williams. I often get them confused because they had these nice, handsome mustaches. That was Billy D. Williams. Carl Weathers was, yes, okay. I mean, I would have liked that too. But Billy D. Williams would have been fantastic as like a full-fledged Two-Face. Leo said, will you always... keep your hair long. Love the length and the way it looked in the Cynical Crafter videos. It was kind of short there, and I had the undercut, and now I'm just like, I don't know. It'll be, I think, no shorter than what I had them at in those videos, and now I'm just like, meh. And then remember, this was grown out. Remember, it was weird, and then I grew it out, and I was happy, and then in a miscommunication mishap, it cut, and now I got to deal with this shit again. Michelle said, I hate Hocus Pocus too. Everyone thinks it was so wonderful for some reason. I love Kathy and Jimmy, though. So do I. No complaints on the cast. Just the movie. Rye said Cliff Robertson was shamed. Thank you, Rye. Sean said there's a phenomenal clip of Brent Spinner doing Patrick Stewart, telling a story about Stewart going up on this hill on the Next Generation set and doing The Hills Are Alive. I just saw Alfred Molina as Doc Ock in an outtake doing Fiddler on the Roof. Nail said, if you burp, vom, stop whatever you're doing immediately. Yeah. Yolanda agrees. The reflex cutoff is real. Nug said, the puzzler was Maurice Evans. Roddy McDowell was Bookworm. We are starting a little group here. Sean said, I'm a fan of the fan known as Nails. The wrestler, take her. Nails with an S, yes. Nails with a Z, look out. I prefer the cream from Sonic, the ice cream from Sonic over DQ. DQ seems to have more variety, says SM, but the actual ice cream flavor is meh. I don't frequent DQ as much because it shares a building with a gas station. I hate the combo stores. And also the Orange Julius they try to push on you. Nug said, Phantom of the Paradise rules. Phantom of the Paradise, let's shed some light and appreciation on Phantom of the Paradise. It was before Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it really has many of those elements. And you're like, wow. And I think, Rocky Horror obviously eclipsed it in that realm, that cult movie realm, but it should go back. You should go back and you should appreciate it. Rye with the clutch hit. Art Carney was the Archer, wasn't he? Yes, he was. I kept thinking he was the minstrel, but I'm now realizing Archers and minstrels of the time wore the same hats. SM said there used to be 3 DQs near me. The gas station was the only one left. The one in my town burned down when I was a kid. I think that was for insurance purposes. Chris said, now everyone is correcting me. You're thinking of Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, said Chris. Daniel said, Nude, put it on clothes, sir. There's an ordinance. Ryan said it was Billy D. Williams. American Girl said it was Billy D. Williams. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm wrong, and I'm sorry to both Carl and Billy. Lisa, do you own a pair of Heelys, Glen Heelys? I have a goalie glove. Ninny said the best thing about Batman 1989. Oh, the wet streets. Neil said, I love that natural laugh you do. Kind of a spit. It's a spit of air. Like that. Like, now I can't. Self-conscious about it. Rye said Joan Collins as the Siren and also Shelley Winters as Ma or something. Am I crazy? She just is an evil grandmother. SM said, I started cutting my own hair now. I'm going to fucking think about the money you're going to be saving. SM, think about it. Sean said, I enjoy Hocus Pocus a lot, but the reason is specifically because the Disney Channel played it ad nauseum, which tells me the fix was in. It was probably cheap because it sucked. And Disney was like, let's just run this into the ground and pretend it was popular. Rye said, Orange Julius. They should have used Cesar Romero as the spokesperson. There's an impression they need to work on. I will say, I love when you go into some Dairy Queens will have the history of Dairy Queen on the wall, and they're very adamant to let you know that Orange Julius came before Dairy Queen. And if it wasn't for Orange Julius, there would be no Dairy Queen. Brandon said Phantom of the Paradise was only a hit in Paris and Winnipeg. I remember reading an article about how popular Phantom of the Paradise was in Winnipeg for some reason. It should be popular more places. Daniel said Shakespeare said people near Sonics, which I've never been to. The closest one to Daniel is a half hour away. Just go have a little jog or something. Nail said, do you see Effie was Grand Marshal at a Pride parade yesterday? What parade would you like to marshal grandly? I think in the town of Morgantown, West Virginia, it's the hometown of Don Knotts, there should be a Don Knotts Day. Or there's a place called Willoughby, Ohio, and that is the Willoughby from the Twilight Zone episode, A Stop at Willoughby. And they have a Stop at Willoughby festival. And if there was like a Twilight Zone parade, I would like to be the Grand Marshal of it. Van Johnson Day. A parade in my honor? You don't have to ask me twice. Leo said, do you think they'll ever make a version of Splat Out with adult contestants? I don't think anyone has ever tried to make a show like that before. I will say the second season of Splat Out, they started mixing in adults. They would do like teachers and students and kids and parents episodes. And then there was also talk about doing not an adult one, but like a teen one. I think the cutoff was like 12. So like, 13 to 16, 13 to 18, which would have been great. And then we had heartily looked at doing a nighttime version one I wrote a whole pitch for, which was fantastic. And I had also pitched doing a children's horror movie in the abandoned castle because it was perfect. Oh, Daniel was thinking of Joan Rivers. It's fine. It's okay. We can still think about her. Chris said, I think I mentioned this before, but a former classmate of mine was literally obsessed with Hocus Pocus and acted like it was the best thing since melted butter, which is a good thing and better than sliced bread, to be honest with you. I just put melted butter on a whole loaf of bread and I'm going to eat it like this. SM with a lovely teal tribute saying, just for being RJ, and that's all I can be, except when I'm doing a Van Johnson impression. Kingdom said, have you ever been to Morgantown, West Virginia? It's no Great Shakes, baby boy. You know who lives very close to there and tries to rope me into visiting him and Morgantown is Jock Sampson. I know I will go one day. I know there's not that much to look at. However, I know there is a sidewalk display with Don Knotts' name, and there is 2 Don Knotts statues. One of him standing and one of him sitting. There is also, I don't know if you guys know this. This is a dude, I've just spoken. Lawrence Welk has a chain of like golf club resort things. They're like the Welk Resorts. And one of them has the Lawrence Welk Museum. I want to say it's in a Dakota or a Carolina. I'm not really sure, but like that is on my list. That is really, really on my list. Hey, David, if you're still here, remember when that time we stayed at Graceland and didn't go anywhere or do anything? That was weird, right? We just like kind of walked the hallway of the lobby in the hotel. I mean, it was fun. I liked the hotel. It was just weird to be there and not. It's like staying at a hotel at Disney. And they just, but not. Neil said, well, you had certainly thought about that parade before. American said, thoughts on Repo, the genetic opera. Is that the one that has Paul Sorvino in it? I think it is. I mean, it's fun. It's fun and okay. And I like those kind of movies. It's not at the top of my list, but it's all right. Daniel said, there's a diner near the town of North Carolina that they patterned the town of Mayberry after. Got lots and lots of Andy Griffith memorabilia. I ate my chicken while staring at Don Knotts, and he was like this. Leo said, is the footage of the Splat-A-Lot finale on YouTube? I heard you get thrown in the pool. It's not the finale. It was a live special they did with cast members from other TV shows. It was called like YTV Celebrity Splat Down. I don't know if it could very well be on YouTube. I do get thrown in the pool. I was the first person to get thrown using that system. Which is terrifying. And and then, it may be on like ytv.com or something. It may be GeoBlock, but nevertheless, you'll be able to find it. Did I start crying? What the hell happened with my eye? I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just feeling moist. Rye said, I shared an elevator with Joan Collins in Cleveland. She was quite delightful and looked as cute as a button. And a buttery suede. I think you mean suede. Buttery suede. Thank you. I see the correction. Jogging suit with a newsboy hat and Adidas. Isn't that adorable? Sean said, I've been listening to this podcast from CNN called Behind the Desk about the history of late night. It's not amazing. There's great stories from comics appearing on it, like Jack Parr or Carson. The Late Shift by Bill, I can't remember his name. It was great. He wrote 2 great books about late night, and that's kind of what that documentary and that podcast is kind of based on, and I'm excited to dig into them. It's on my list. Thank you for mentioning it. Shanika said, Wheeling, West Virginia is a lovely town. Well, I will ask for you specifically when I'm there. I'll just yell down the street. Daniel said, Welcome Museum. Is it the polka dot? Neil said, Graceland's on my bucket list. How could you do nothing yet? We had other things to do. We're very busy. Val looked it up and said, the Lawrence Welk Museum is in North Dakota. Thank you. I appreciate it. Daniel said, wait, Arquette was near Graceland. They didn't go. I think he had already been. I have never been. I mean, I was there. A said, best city names in the United States that sound like where wrestlers are from. Mine is Dudleyville. I like, Battle Creek, Michigan was like the best one. Although Creek, maybe it was Battle Lake or something. Brutally Speaking said, I know I'm a bit late on this. Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman have been doing a Batman 66 commentary that's been great because Ralph is a huge 66 fan. I will also look that up. Neil said, did your guy liner run? There are so many times I've done shows and I'm like, just put some eyeliner on them. Michelle said, Wipeout is close to a grown-up version of Splatlat. I think John Cena hosts a new one, but he doesn't have any eyeliner on when he doesn't, Michelle, so it doesn't really count. Rye said, Repo the Genetic Opera is surprisingly great. I remember reviewing it and praising Paris Hilton's performance. I saw the world premiere at Fantasia, which is where I first met you. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that makes sense now. The Monster Brawl days. Chris said, Pulsavina is in another film by the same producers called Aluia, The Devil's Carnival 2. Well, that I got to look up. Yolanda said, moist is such a gross yet sexy word, and I hope you embody it. Sean said the story Brian Regan tells is killer. Episode 4, I think. Check it out. I will. Sean said you look amazing with eyeliner. Let's be honest. I'm just going to start wearing it and not say anything. SM said, why do I remember that RVD is from Battle Creek? Because it's a good hometown. Kingdom said, if we're just naming random decrepit West Virginia towns, I'd like to throw Wyerton on the pile, but don't take you Willie out. American said, great Canadians in that. Ogre from Skinny Puppy. And on that, and I want to thank everyone. And, you know, the best part about this show was that there was no vulgarity. There was no four-letter words. And there was no bare bottoms. Let's take a final look at the nude. I think the nude worked for me. I think I'm going to keep the look. I'm a big fan of it. And thank you to the fine people at this university here for supplying this. Until the next time, Godspeed and God bless.